Hello. Hey, there's I'm just starting off my stream, and basically we have got one guy already sending a message. Let's go, W. So he's like, hi, hello. It's Neko Garau, I guess. Nico. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing their name correctly or not. I hope I am. Hi. Nico. I guess I think that's their name. Hopefully it's correct. Yes, it's good. Neko. So Neko, how are you doing today? So basically, what we are going to do in the stream today is basically, I'm not an expert game developer, by the way. I am just getting into it. This is my first game that I'm going to build. Although I'm a very expert programmer, I'm a principal engineer with a reputable software company, but the game development is kind of a new feed for me, and I'm trying to get started with it. I'm quite inspired by the story for the game. This story was written by my 8-year-old girl. She is in school right now, and basically because of the pandemic, the COVID situation, she is at home, and basically she wrote this story. It's a story of two sisters who are basically living near a forest outside a town. It's like kind of a fantasy story, but not really fantasy. It's like kind of from the medieval era, wherein there are two sisters who live with their mother outside a town, and basically the younger sister, she gets out of the house. Their mother is not at home. She got late while she was at work, and then basically the little one just sneaks out of the house and basically runs into the forest. The big sister now has to go and find her younger sister, and basically I worked with a couple of other folks in my kind of team, and what we did was basically we created a very detailed narrative of the story in terms of games and all those kind of things. So this is like the story that we have written, and we have tried to come up with simple game mechanics and those kind of things. Although all of us are are not professional game developers. Some of us are some of us are business analysts, and some of us are graphic designers. We are this game development and kind of stuff is totally new to us. So we have been trying to come up with a solid game plot and story, and then basically based on that, now we are going to start designing the levels. I have tried to provide some description in the stream description regarding what tools and things we are going to use. So basically today I have just set up a basic project in Unity. Let me just show what I've done. I've imported all the assets, and the reason why I set it up before starting the stream was because these assets, they take quite a bit of time to import. They are quite what do you call it, big in terms of the memory and size. So if I may show you the total size of this thing, if I may, kind of, let's just open Unity Hub. Pradeep Singh, big sister. So this is my the total. If I may show users, Pradeep Singh, big sister game. So let me just show you the okay, thank you. I will make the music a little bit. Is it better now, Nico? Yeah, hopefully it's better now. Most of the times I wasn't I wasn't anticipating people to join me at this time, because it's if you can see the time, it's like almost 3 a.m. in the morning for me. So I wasn't expecting anyone to join me, but thanks for reminding. The other thing is, basically, if you see the total size of the assets or the kind of things that I've imported is like approximately 60 GB, which is quite big. So I set up all the assets and those kind of things. For him, it's 18, which is like 6 p.m. in the evening. Nice. Where are you located, Nico? If I may ask you, in which country or which part of the world? Canada. Nice, nice. So it's nice to have. I'm by the way, I'm located in United Arab Emirates. I just moved here like around 6 months ago. Before that, I was basically working in Bangkok, the other part of the world, Asia, Thailand, kind of. So yeah, so let's come back to the topic. So what I was talking is basically I was telling that I have set up all the assets and stuff. So if I may show, these are the kind of like things that I've imported, and the reason why I've used these assets is because I want to not waste any time in like creating those 3D models and trees and those kind of things. So I went ahead and like bought some asset packs from Unity Asset Store, just to speed up the development. And I have put a link to all the assets that I'm using in this project for your reference, if you are interested in figuring out or finding out how to get those assets. Although it's like very straightforward, and I'm not an expert, as I said, in the game development. I'm just starting off. So I don't know how many times I will fail and how many times I'll delete stuff before I'm in a position to kind of go ahead and create the final version of the game. So let's look at the what do you call it? The first step that we are going to do is basically we are going to build a terrain. So a terrain is like kind of a ground, right? So basically you just create terrains for basically providing the base on which you will be building your world, right? So there is a package called Terrain Toolbox. You can install it from going to the package manager. As you can see here, there is this Terrain Tools. This package comes with a few what do you call it? Nice tools that you can use to create terrains. For example, this one. So I'm going to create a 500 by 500 meters terrain, and personally height 500 is good enough because this is going to be a forest, kind of like outskirts of the forest. So I am not planning on having any hills for this terrain. So I'll just start off by having the terrain height as 500. That's good enough for me. And what I need to do is basically I need to come to the terrain settings, and if I go to the base settings, this is good enough. Mesh resolutions. So what I would like to do is basically I would these are I would like to make this number as high as possible. Let's say if I set it to 512, it's the maximum number that you can have is like 128. Now if I go to the detail resolution, I can set it to be like 2048. I can even increase this even more if I want to. Basically, let's say 4096, which is like basically which is in the multiples of 2, because it's most of the game engines like to have stuff in binary. Texture resolutions. So I can say the texture resolutions a little bit higher because I want the details to be super what do you call it, detailed. So and I have I think like this is a good enough kind of measurement. So this is going to be like everything is going to be super details. Trees and details. Draw trees. Preserve light. Pro bringing. I don't know what this is, but preserve prototype layers. Perfect. Wind for grass. We can tweak these settings later on in the terrain settings. For now, it's good enough. So let's keep everything as it is, and then basically this is done. Terrain edit, clean, remove. Okay, so I'm going to come here and I'm going to create a simple terrain. So what this will do is basically this will create a terrain which I can now see here. As you can see, this is like super detailed terrain, and I already have a camera in my scene, and I can just this is a terrain that was created, so I'll just say I'll just rename this terrain. I can come here and I can rename this to be, by the way, like I'm doing this renaming and all stuff as on the other screen, because as I said, like I have two monitors, and if I put them all side by side, then well, the actual work which I am going to do on this terrain becomes really small, so people will not be able to visualize this. That's the reason. So I'm going to call it home TERAIN terrain. Right, so that's one thing. Before I start doing anything, though, what I would like to do is basically I would like to drop a character onto my scene, and the reason for that character drop, why I want to do this, is because I want to make sure that basically I have a very good idea. I can see the scale of the things, and because right now, if you look, it looks you don't get a very good idea as to how the gameplay will look, or what would be the scale of things when you start playing the game. That's the reason what I want to do here is basically I want to drop off a character. This character is not the final character, it's just for prototyping. Eventually this is going to change, but for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use so if I go to my prefabs scripts, where is the procedural worlds, scripts, terrain, textures, frameworks, prefabs, FPS. I think I'll drop it here. Okay, let's start the game. Yeah, so this is the first person shooter kind of character controller, as you can see. So okay, so this gives me an idea as to how this will look. This is a very simple first person shooter. I can move around using my mouse and right clicking the stuff, so I can just move around the scene. Okay, so this is good enough. This gives me a fairly decent idea. What I would like to do is X, Y and Z. So I would like to basically put my perspective correctly so that I have a very good idea. So if you can see here, we have this gizmos which gives us like an idea. So Z in like most of the game engines is the depth, and X and basically X and the Y are the novel kind of things that we see in the games or like in the real world. So if I come here and okay so I'm for some reason I found that like the kind of mouse controls and this kind of stuff is not super helpful in Unity for some whatever reason. Like it never works in a very nice and intuitive way, or maybe being like a programmer, I'm not a designer, so I always struggle with this approach here. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to see is basically I wanted to go to my standard assets. I think like this guy already has some nice first person shooter and basically another like one character controller that you can use, which is a better one. I like that better. So let's see if I can get that part here. Hmm. I had already imported standard assets, by the way. It's just that I'm not able to find that particular character. So I may, let's see if I can come here, and I'll say standard assets third person controller. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, it wasn't import for standard assets characters first person controller FPS third person controller. Why isn't it importing these guys? It should import. For some reason they are not being imported. I don't need the 2D stuff. Sample scenes, I don't need them. Wow. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I have another character pack that I can probably look here, which I might be able to use. So if I come to search for assets, this is a free character pack, and I think I can use this guy just for the sake of, you know. What's the total size? 58 MB, so that's not big. I should be able to basically set it up fairly quickly. The reason I want to have a third person controller rather than a first person controller is because it gives you a very good perspective of the character and the real world. So basically that's the kind of motivation here. Okay. Eventually we would want to have like, I think we decided on the characters and those kind of things as well. Let me just go, where is my yeah, this one. So we already have decided the 3D characters as well that we are going to use for like as I said, like I'm not a game designer or a graphic designer or like 3D artist, so I would want to use pre-built assets as much as I can. So we will use these to take the characters for like this one. One of the things that we would take is basically this guy. This is going to be the main character of the game, and we're going to take her and basically animate her and using Unity. So we have finalized these, and basically we are going to use them for the game. Let's now come here. So it's already imported. If I go to my scene now, and I think I should be able to basically go ahead and drop the character from this guy. So first of all, I'll remove this FPS from the scene, because just remove this guy. And when as I imported this into my scene, now what happens is basically I've got this guy in vector, and I can come to 3D models, characters, basic locomotion. So this is like an example scene that they have provided to us. You can use this here. I think they should be. And if I open the so the thing is, all these things look pink, because I'm using a universal render pipeline template for the game. So, and it's like I'll need to convert the materials and those kind of things before I can just see anything into the world. So I think like nothing is working as I have to convert these materials into proper materials, but I can see the hands and all those kind of things. So what I need is render pipeline, upgrade project materials to render pipeline, proceed. If this doesn't work, then I'm not going to waste any more time on the character controller. I will just simply go ahead and so it kind of now upgraded the project materials and stuff, which is nice. So now if I can start, and if I like the kind of character controller, probably I might even buy this, but for now it's okay. So this is the character. Okay. It doesn't climb on this guy either. Climbs on this guy. Yeah, so this is good enough for me in terms of basically the character. I think I can use this. They have So the reason for putting these things and basically showing the sound here is they want to show that like this guy can basically even like do a hit detection and those kind of things. So it can climb on stairs, which is another nice thing that I like. I think, do we have so okay, it can jump. Let's see if I may show how it goes. Okay, all right. So locomotion actions, melee template, shooter template, character creator window, melee weapon system. Perfect. This is a very this looks like a good character pack. Tab, switch, locomotion type. Move the camera, space, jump. Okay. Nice. So now I can just come here and drop the prefab. So there are like so I would like to like take this time to like tell a little bit about prefabs. Although as I said, like I'm not an expert in any manner in Unity or game design, but like with Unity what you have is something called prefabs, and what prefabs do is basically they are prefabricated game assets that you can use. So basically you can create something which for example, one of the good examples is like you can have a character like this. This character is comprised of several things. The first thing is basically this 3D mesh that it is built up. Then inside the 3D mesh, there is something called basically there is a process known as rigging. And what rigging does is basically it adds bones for the locomotion to be able to basically move the character in a certain way. And then basically you animate those bones to move the character or the 3D mesh in a specific way. And then basically you add certain C# scripts or like code to handle the user inputs. You also add physics based logic, like head detection, applying force, and those kind of things. So then basically when you have created all of this, you convert this into a prefab, and then basically you can reuse that into multiple scenes. So that's how like the kind of the logic of prefabs work in Unity. So I've got this scene that we created earlier, this guy, and if I go to my the prefabs that I have in vector, prefabs, third person controller light. So this is the guy. If I come here, I need to open their scene again, because for the reference I would like to see what they have done. I would like to open that scene again to see, because this is like the first time that I've seen this asset pack. I would like to see. So they have a third person controller, then they have the camera. So I need to use their camera, and how the camera is structured. I think 25. Okay. I think the camera automatically comes into the frame as soon as the game starts. It follows the player. So there are certain they have certain scripts. Hopefully, yes, I can see that. So yeah, the camera automatically moves behind the player. Initially we were seeing that the camera was facing on the other direction, but now as soon as I start so I'll have to use the second prefab just to give you guys an idea what I'm talking about. Here is like there are two in that particular scene that we are looking at right now. There are two kind of prefabs that they have provided. One is the third person controller, the other one is the camera. And as you can see, like the camera has an attached script. I can go and look into the script, but I don't want to basically because I don't know even if I'm going to use this. This is only for designing the world. And then basically we have the third person controller, and then basically it has all the things here. So let's come back here and just use the same convention. I'll have to delete my camera from the scene, so it's not such a big deal. I can go ahead and do that, not a problem at all. So if I come back here, so I already have a main camera. I can just go ahead and delete this. So there is no camera in the scene now, and now I can go ahead and use the the prefab that they have provided for the third person control camera. So I also have the camera now. Perfect. Now what I can do is basically I can just start the game. Hopefully it should automatically detect the third person controller. I might not be required to add any tags or that kind of stuff. In most of the cases it does that, but let's see. Yeah, it automatically adjusts. So I just do have the, although the, yeah, so it works nicely. Perfect. Okay. Okay. I can just come back and close this. So this is like good enough for me to start designing my world. And let's come back here. So the way I would like to do this is basically, okay, this is like, this is good enough for me to start building the world. Yep. Alright, so the first things first that we are going to do is basically we are going to take our terrain, which is this guy here, and in this terrain what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to add a few things. First that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some layers and those kind of things into this. So you come back here, and I think it's going to be here. Where is that? There are going to be terrain layers. Terrain. Brush. Paint texture. Here it comes. Right. And then when I use this, okay, let's do one thing. Let me just like, so that you guys can, I can just bring the inspector window to this particular side of things here, so that like you can follow along or understand what I'm talking about. So there is something called paint texture. When I've selected the terrain, now I can paint a texture. But before I'm able to do, I need to assign a few things. So the material is already there. I need to assign layers. So layers are nothing but kind of, you know, things that allow us to basically paint textures on, right? So you can have multiple layers. So first of all, let's add a base layer, right? So I'll just call it, okay, I can create base layer. So as soon as I create the base layer texture layer, it's going to ask me to select a texture, right? So I'll just say mud, rocky soil, mud, rocky. Forest. See what do we have in terms of forest? Black cherry, forest floor, fantasy forest environment. Okay, that's selected a texture. Let's see how it looks. What's the kind of texture? By the way, the tiling is horrible, but that's not a problem. We can always go ahead and do that. So For now, let's just look how the, oh crap, this doesn't look very nice. This is kind of a rock kind of a texture. It's not kind of ground, but that's okay. We can always go ahead and remove this. Remove. Okay. So done. One of the ways that I think would be better is, I have like all these assets. I can, if I may, or if I can look at them, probably here. Yeah, this looks nice. So this gives me a way to visualize those textures before I'm able to add them. So let's see what all textures do I have. So I have got procedural worlds. There is something called CTS, texture score, textures library, texture library, ground dirt, okay, small dry, dirt, 01. Because I'm not an expert game designer, sometimes it becomes difficult for someone like me to, try to understand how it would actually look, because people who are like really expert in this kind of stuff, they are really good at creating these things. But for somebody like me, it's not like super intuitive to figure this out in the first go. So I don't know how it's gonna look, but let's see. It's not so bad. I can just try with a few of them. Dirt wet, dirt wet. This is wet. Ground forest, forest 01. I think this is going to be okay in my opinion. Yeah, this should be okay. So if I come here and if I add a layer, base layer, create, ground forest 01, ground forest 01 underscore There are a few example scenes that I was able to see in the CTS. So if I come here and if I go to landscape demo, and let's see what layers they are using for the terrain. So if I go to terrain, so I right, so right. And if I go to this now, what are the layers? Layer palette. Hmm. Okay, okay, I can come to my scenes here. Let me just bring it back to the place where it was here, and I can also, like, just to have a little bit of real estate, and bring it here. That way it looks a little bit better now. I'll come back and open my forest scene. Yeah, so this is my character controller. I think I can use the Gaia here. I can go to procedure worlds, Gaia, show Gaia manager. Gaia is like a way of generating, as far as, like, I've read from the documentation, is like it's a it's a way of creating terrains and those kind of things. So I have created the terrain already. Now what I need is, basically, I would need to go ahead and use the Gaia manager to stamp stuffs into it, like mountains and those kind of things. So the terrain is already created, if you see here, like, create terrain. So what I need is, I now need to show the stamper. So let's see, stamper, player controller. I don't need the player controller. Okay, I can come here. One of the few things that I would like to set here, like, okay, certain settings, like advanced scene settings, I think, systems and project information, add water extensions. Okay, okay, so first things first, I would probably right now just create a simple stamper. Show stamper. Hmm. Let me just bring it to the other side. And if I go here, if I take this as well, and close the Gaia manager. And what I need is, I need to fit this thing to the terrain. So I'll just go to and say fit to terrain. So it's now fitted to the entire terrain, and I can change it the stamp from this mountains to, let's say, plains. Okay. Wow. Wow. This looks nice. I think these are some new stamps, I hope, because they were not present earlier. I don't know how it got into them, but they were earlier, they were not here. Huh. Okay. This world looks interesting now. Yeah. Yeah. It kind of looks interesting. What else? Okay. Okay. I think this is. Let's see. Let's all look at the other kind of stamps that they have here. Okay. Hmm. Wow. This one is better, I guess. Let me bring on the sideways, and let me just take a look from the top. This is a better view, I think. This gives me a very good idea as to how it's gonna, what are the features, because what I'm interested in this is basically where are going to be, where I can make roads and like those kind of things. So this is the reason I need something of a top-down view. Okay. Hmm. So as anything that's below blue is kind of like the water level or the sea level. So anything that's above sea level is what is going to be land. So these blue areas are like the places where we are going to see water. Okay, okay. Have something like this, but this will be like too much water. I would want to have some sort of a lake in the middle of the scene, but not too much like crazy water kind of a area. So I think this height looks good enough. Hopefully, yeah. This looks nice. Yeah, this view is even better. Something like this. Yeah. Let's now look at other stamps. Dunes. Oh, nothing good. Don't need sand dunes for God's sake. Utah Plains. Okay. No, no. I don't think this is a good thing for me to do. No, no, no. Not interested in this. Come back. Okay. Hmm. I'm interested. Where would I make those kind of places to go, the paths and the roads and those kind of things. So I'm just trying to find a very interesting kind of a profile here. Okay. Yeah. And this kind of feature looks nice to me. I don't know, but this kind of looks interesting. I'll have to paint the path and all those kind of features, but so far, let's see, how does this guy? Oh no, this is like too much. Badlands. No. This also looks interesting. This could be a nice forest kind of a thing, but then there are like two extreme heights and those kind of things, which make it a little bit difficult for me to visualize how the player is going to move across the scene. So let's say we have a road starting here, it goes up and then basically goes here to here and then basically here and here, something like this maybe. Yeah, right. So and come here, you come here, and then basically here you enter the second level. Okay. Right. Let's see if I have something better. This one is more uniform and nicely distributed kind of a place. Looks like a forest as well. this one is more better and uniform, as far as I think. This is extreme. 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 First. Really not able to visualize how this world is going to look like. Hmm. Let's make the sea level at around maybe 10. Yeah, this kind of looks interesting now. Drop it a little bit down like this, even a little bit up, and I can make the sea level at even below. Then now I can make it to be 10 or maybe 5 or even 0. How about 0? So we start at 0 as the sea level. Maybe 10 is good enough. We have got a few lakes in the scene here and there, some water bodies. Yeah, kind of looks like forest environment now. Yeah, yeah. Okay, what kind of game am I making, Miss Chris Gamer? Uh, hey, Chris Gamer, I am making a RPG. So it's like well, it's so we have a story for the game, and the story is something like this. Let me just open the story here somewhere. Where was that? Yeah. So we have. Let me just start. Like, what's the narrative, right? So once upon a time, there were two sisters, Rose and Angel. By the way, this story is written by my 8-year daughter. She was like she's staying at home right now. She came back from her school. She was studying in a boarding school in India, and she is at home right now because of the COVID situation. And she wrote this story, and we have been planning to. I've been planning to build this game for quite some time. So. This is like a story of two sisters, just like I have two daughters, and basically, so she wrote this story about herself, and Rose was the elder sister, and Angel was the younger one. They lived outside a small town near a forest. Both sisters loved each other and played together. Rose playing with her sister in park and garden, eating ice cream with her parents, and these kind of things that we want to show. Their mother used to go out in the day for work and would leave Rose to take care of her sister and do her studies. So this is like the introduction, what kind of life they had. Rose and Angel both like to have adventures, but their mother asked them to stay near home and not go far away because their house was very close to forest, and in the forest there were spirit giants. So this is like her fantasy. Like this is the kind of imagination that that 8-year-old girl has. So she thought that there are spirit giants, giant spirits in the forest. Rose was a little grown up, so she had understood that the spirit giants are very dangerous and they should not go inside the forest. But the younger sister, Angel, was very small and mischievous, and she liked to sneak out of the house to play outside. So this is like the kind of backdrop of the story of. And then basically one day, here we show what kind of like routine life they had. Then one day, basically, their mother got late from the school, from the work, and basically the elder sister or the big sister was basically waiting for the mother. Then she saw like it was quite late, and it was not a unusual thing. Their mother usually used to be late from work. So basically she knew what she has to do, so she started cooking dinner for her younger sister. She fed her, she put her to the bed, and then she went on to do her studies. But after a while, the younger sister just sneaks out of the house, thinking that it's early morning and she wanted to see the sunrise. So when the big sister or the elder sister, she heard some noise, and basically she saw the gate being slammed, and when she looked outside the window, she saw that her younger sister was running towards the forest. She tried to shout, but the window was closed, so she could not basically make her stop, and then she ran out of house. But as soon as she reached towards the gate, her sister was already about to enter the forest. So this is like the kind of story that we are basically going to have. So basically this is the game that I'm building. Did I hope basically I was able to answer your question, Miss Chris Gamer. I think I don't know if I'm replying this name correctly or not. Uh, and I'm gonna why does it say that I cannot post to YouTube? Restream channel connection expired. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like I am a software engineer, and basically I write software for a living. This is like, although I don't write games and those kind of things, but this is also a very interesting kind of experience for me. And I'm not an expert. I know C sharp language. I've been writing code in C sharp language for almost like 15 years, or not 15, but like I've been writing code for almost 15 years now, and I've been using C sharp since it was like first released in what was the year? I think 2003 or something, like 2002, 2003. So and I decided to use Unity as the game engine, so just like so that I'm able to build something very fast. Right now I'm trying to come up with the level where like I'm trying to build their house, and basically this is the kind of like the first segment of the world. Then basically we will stitch multiple terrains together to build multiple parts of the system, or like the game. So this is the house area. So it's like kind of near the forest. We will probably have their house somewhere around here. They have a lake nearby, and then basically there is this path which goes towards the forest. We will add one kind of channel thing here around this area to basically take another path to the town. By the way, to answer your question, basically we haven't been like working on this for a very long time. It's like I started looking at the idea around beginning or like towards the end of the May. So it's been like almost 1.5 month. Yeah, May, around mid-May. My daughter basically wrote this story, and then we started working on basically adding details to the story and mechanics and those kind of things towards the end of the May. And this right now is basically what, like a couple of months. We haven't like started doing the actual game production because I was working on another project, which is also related to education and teaching. It's also my personal project. So uh, now that like I decided to basically take some time off from that project and devote more time to this game. So it's been like it's just the beginning. So as you can see, I'm just designing the first scene, or like the first kind of world for the game. Okay, so now that I have this guy here, I can just go ahead and stamp this. So this will stamp the terrain into this. I don't think do I have okay, I don't have any spawners or something like that, so it should just spawn the textures and those things, nothing else. Fit to terrain. Yeah, this guy fits it to terrain, and I can just simply stamp it. Yeah, it looks good to me. So let me just stamp this guy. So now it's stamped. Let's look how it looks to the player. So if I go to the controller now, this is like really down. I can bring it up. Uh, I think I'm going to be. It's going to be a third-person game, and the reason for that is because that kind of adds a very nice look and feel into the character because of the nature of the game itself. It's like it's in my opinion, like although as I said, like I might change this at a later point, but this is going to be a third person, and that's the reason, like we have also basically come up or finalized some of the characters as well. For example, this is the character that we have for the big sister. We will probably change the clothing and that kind of stuff, but this is the kind of character that we have thought in mind. And yeah, so this is the kind of idea for the character. We also have the younger sister, which is here, I think. Yeah, this girl, she's really cute. So and to add that kind of story kind of feel, it's better that you have a third person, I think. Although and the story is anyways not narrated in first person, so I don't think we are going to use the first person, but probably we might have a combination of both. So basically the player can switch between the third person and the first person. I honestly I don't have an answer for that right now. So okay, let's come back here. So I have stamped the terrain. Now let's see how the world looks, just basically just for the sake of walking around and seeing how this is. Like, just by the way, like, we'll change the textures and those kind of things around it. For now we just want to see how the world looks like. Yeah, the younger sister is the angel, and the elder sister is Rose. So that's the name that my daughter was adamant on keeping. So we decided, like, yeah, why not, sure, let's just name them the way they are. Right, so this is the kind of, yeah, it looks nice. There are like certain cliffs and certain plain areas for player to walk around. And although the details are not like, the terrain is not super detailed, I think I would have liked it to be super detailed, and I think I selected quite a bit of details, but it did not, like, because these, if you see, look at these cubes, or like these squares that you can see on the floor. They are like one patch, so they should have been super detailed, but they are not for some reason or the other. Okay, okay. Hmm. So it's kind of stuck here. I think we can walk our way over to the top, because this is not a very steep height, so the player should be able to climb on these. Looks like, yeah. Yeah. Wow, this is really nice. I liked it. It's kind of the objective is not to protect your sister but to actually find her, because she goes into the forest, and basically then the journey begins to find her. So basically it's that she she is she's as soon as she enters the forest, she is not able to find her. Then the journey begins in like to basically help people and get help from other people to find her sister. And actually the objective is to basically bring her back home, right? So that's the kind of objective of the game, if I may say. So yeah, these kind of edges, I don't like them. They are like super ugly. And this is bad. Honestly, this is actually bad. I think it will make the game look really horrible. I don't know why I selected quite a bit of detail in the textures. So if you look at these sharp edges, they are not good. Like they don't look nice. So this is going to be very bad. I think. Okay, let me go to my terrain here. And if I go to window, terrain toolbox here, and settings, if I go to my basic settings, cast shadows, draw, grouping ID, oh yeah, I did select quite a bit of detail here. Hmm. That's the maximum that you can go, right? Apply to all terrains in the scene. Yes, yes. It's basically that's the goal. Basically, once I'm finished with the game, I will probably put it on Steam and on Android Play Store as well. I don't want to go upload it. I don't know whether I might even upload it on Apple Store, uh, but yeah, but that's the reason I'm using a tool like basically Unity so that like I can basically upload it to multiple platforms. And I hope it's going to be uh, available on platforms like Steam and Android and Windows App Store. And that's the plan. Yes, so I'm building this for my daughter, and also basically anybody who wants to basically play the game. Apply to all trains in the scene. Where did it go? Oh, okay. It's like stuck. Why did it? Why is it stuck? I hope the Unity will not crash. If it does, then it will be horrible. Come on. What happened? What happened? 8% CPU. Wow. Hmm. Probably it crashed or it went into. This is one of the other things, like with the Unity. This is like super. If it crashes on my machine, which is which is one of a like one beast kind of a machine. If you see here, like right, so it's a 24 core machine, which, and basically, by the way, it wasn't even taking any CPU. It's like sitting at 4%, but the the Unity is like horrible. But like okay, I should not be probably ranting about it because I'm using the same software, right? So I should and it's a free tool, so I should be grateful. But sometimes, like, yeah, you just become that guy who complains for no reason. What's taking 22% of CPU? Okay, hopefully this will start. Hmm. Yeah, it was like frozen, and basically it wasn't working at all. If I see, this is the controller. I'm not happy with the detail resolution on this terrain, or maybe I'm just overthinking about it. But it's okay. It's okay. So that's that. Now let's just add a simple kind of a. If I go to Gaia Manager and stamper, right? So this is the stamp. I might now want to add like a few textures and those kind of things. So if I go to Gaia, show Gaia Manager, and if I come here, if I say terrain, retype, biomes, add biomes. Hmm. Okay, let's see what this biome has in it. Sample biome. Sea level is 10. Okay, not needed. I think I would need to have a texture spawner as well. Window. And then come to advanced biomes, add spawners, Gaia Pro, texture spawner. This guy. Add spawner. Okay. So this, what this will do is basically it will. Yes, we will try to add cutscenes, and Unity has a very nice feature. It's known as Cine Machine. You can Google about Cine Machine. It's a kind of a cinematic camera thing, and people have created movies using Unity, Cine Machine, and those kind of things. Uh, so yes, we are going to have cutscenes. For example, the initial introduction scene, and then basically in certain key areas wherein like the the player goes into like which kind of narrates a part of the story. We are going to have cutscenes and those kind of things into the game. Okay, so this is done. Let's see, what am I looking at? I'm looking at now the texture spawner. So let's see what's the first texture. So this is going to be covered. This is going to cover the entire range. Okay, this is also going to cover nicely. This is going to cover this one, and this is going to cover the top. Perfect. So the textures look okay to me. And if I go ahead and fit to terrain, and if I start spawning into the terrain, Yeah. So this now got rid of all the other things that I had on the terrain. And if I may look at my first person controller, now if I start looking at this, how does it look? I hope there are not like those horrible kind of corners that we were looking at earlier. Hope they are is a little bit better. Yeah, I mean it's not super good, but yeah, it looks a little bit better than earlier for sure. Although these horrible corners are still there, but that's okay. Not so bad actually. I think I'll have to read a little bit more about how to get rid of these super sharp corners, as you can see here, right? So this doesn't look like, this looks triangular kind of. It looks really bad. I don't like it, but that's okay. We can just improve them. And as you can see, we have got some very nice kind of area for the lakes and those kind of things. And let me just, in fact, let me just go ahead here and add some water into the stuff. So I can just come here, add 3 procedural worlds, Gaia, show Gaia manager, and I'll just simply add only water, nothing else. So I'll just add water. So to answer that question, like we have got around 7 chapters in the story, which is like quite a bit, honestly. Like it's a lot of things, and hopefully, or although I am not too sure, but hopefully that means that we are going to have quite a bit of longer gameplay. But what we can do is basically we can keep on updating, releasing updates to the game, so that like we can keep on adding to the story. So this is something that I've added in terms of water. And I was saying, like, there is a lake in the middle of the scene, which looks really nice. Let's go and see the water in the lake. And shortly we'll start, like probably it's around 5 or 4, like quarter past 4 for me now. Yeah, this lakes look really, I mean it looks really nice in the middle of the forest. Although I would like to get rid of these edges on these rocks and these kind of things, but it's okay, not too bad actually. Probably I'll remove this thing later on. Yeah, but for now, like, this looks okay to me, not super nice, but yeah, kind of somehow, as you can see. There are kind of not very nice. I'm sorry, what was the question? What was the question? I lost that question. What was the question here? So do you think this game will cost money, and the train and graphics really good? No, we are not going to charge any money for the game for sure. It's going to be like a free game for playing. Hopefully, I don't know, like probably we might come up with, I don't know, I might add certain mods and those kind of things which you can, like, the basic gameplay will be free, but yeah, I understand, like terrain, that's okay. Yeah, the basic gameplay will be free, but we will have some mods or those kind of things which basically add certain kind of, for example, you can buy a pet, maybe just to recoup some of the investment, or like some of the time that I spent into the game, but apart from that, like the basic gameplay would be, or the entire game mechanics would be free to play. The only thing that we would probably charge, like put up some additional kind of swag and those kind of things in the game. For example, you can buy a pet, or maybe certain extra tools or new dresses. Those kind of things might cost money, but that's another thing, right? So basically, when you do those kind of things, you have to invest time again, and basically, I don't know if that's a decision that might be like might be helpful, might not be, but I have not decided that as of now. Okay, this is one area of the game that I've taken a look. Now I would like to take a look at the second area, which is the other side of the game, which is towards this area. I would like to see how it looks on the other side, because I'm really right now looking at one small part of the game, because this is more interesting kind of area, right? So here we have got some very, but this is more of a plain kind of a area. Yeah, yeah. So okay, hmm. Prob- oh well, creating an open world map. Yeah, we can. I mean, you can write some code to basically generate random kind of locations and that stuff. But it would be like I don't know, like how would I be able to fit it into the story? That's a big question, because with most of the open world games, you don't have a narrative or a story. It's mostly like, do missions and stuff. Probably there are exceptions to it. For example, GTA was an exception wherein you had a narrative in which the game progresses, but then you also had like an open world kind of a scenario. It wasn't a truly open world, because although the world was quite big, but it was still like a constrained world. Uh, so in my understanding, then open world is basically okay, things like, continuous driving kind of areas, or the most of the racing games have that kind of concept wherein like you have one big road, and basically it just keeps on like adding random locations, and then just keep on driving there. Some of the ideas that I think are like that. Uh, for me, like I don't think I can devote that much amount of time, because I have a full time job as well, and basically creating something like, and I'm not an expert in game design anyways, as I've been saying time and again. So I have zero experience in terms of building games. So I don't know. I think it might turn out to be a kind of a place where like we might make it an open world, but I have no idea right now whether I'll do it or not. It's going to be a decision. I think to start with, right now my goal is to basically have this up and running in like in a chapter by chapter kind of thing, and basically as I'm creating those chapters. For example, this is a chapter 1, so it's going to be like a constrained world with predefined kind of things that are placed in the world, predefined locations where the player can go, and then basically just so that like we can progress the story in a predictable manner. Okay. Yes, it's going to be easier. Unity is going to be easier because first of all, like it uses a language which is like relatively easier than C++, which is used by Unreal Engine. That's one big benefit. The other thing is most of the indie game studios, they prefer Unity for a variety of reasons. First of all, basically Unity doesn't work on a commission and those kind of revenue models. Unity is free for most people. If you are an indie game developer, if you are below a certain like revenue, you don't have to buy a license, you can just basically. But whereas like for Unreal, they kind of basically charge you a commission. It's like it doesn't matter how much money you make, it's just that like we will charge or license you the X amount. I think that's the licensing model for Unreal. I don't know if they have changed that licensing model recently. So I think Unreal Engine license. let's see. Get now. Games. Get started now. Publishing license. You get started for free. Pay 5% when your product succeeds. Yeah. So basically, you just pay 5%. Whereas Unity has more liberal licensing. They require you to only show that the game was built using Unity, and if you don't make a certain amount of money, I think it's like $100,000 or something like that. Unity 3D license. Yeah. Unity student plan. Yeah. So this is the one. You can absolutely sell commercial games made in Unity Personal Edition of Unity. To this, you must meet the requirements to use Unity Personal Edition. This is that you did not earn or receive more than $100,000 in revenue or funding in the most recent 12 months period. So yeah, I think if you are able to make that much money in a year by selling a game, then I mean I would be more than happy to pay the Unity professional license fee. Because if I'm able to make that much money from a game, that's really worth it. Yeah. And I think like if you have an idea for indie game, I don't know if you are like what's your skill, like are you a programmer or are you a designer, or basically just a story writer? What's your basically skill that you are, or maybe you are a jack of all trades, or maybe trying to become a jack of all trades like me. I don't know, but yeah, that's a very good like building games is a very unique kind of challenge. I mean, I have been writing software for last 15 years, right? Now everything is like, okay, I don't come across a really difficult problem to solve or an interesting one. It's just mostly business as usual. So building games gives you a different perspective altogether. Like when you're building games, you are actually basically doing a different kind of a bidding altogether. And especially if you have something like, you know, something like a story with like very very complex game plot, then yeah, you are up for a very difficult time ahead of you. Nice. So yeah, that's like we are kind of similar. So that's awesome. Like if you are a programmer, I think it's a very good a good way of basically solidifying your programming skills. Although one of the things like that I would say is writing code using Unity is a good way of learning. But one of the few things that I don't like about or like is that it doesn't give, like, you don't really focus on the code architecture side of the things. You are just purely basically getting the things done. Whereas like when you write software for like enterprise customers or like even normal consumer software, you have to pay really close attention to the architecture and a lot of other things. Whereas in games, you mostly pay attention to the functionality and to a certain extent performance, because well, that's what matters. If your frame rate drops below 30 frames per second, then it's basically your game is literally like not playable at all. So that's the key thing to keep in mind if you are starting off with C# and like learning it, or even if you are like you already know C# and you want to basically advance your programming skills, then I think like probably game development is not the best thing to do. Probably like looking at some more enterprise kind of architectures is a little bit a nice thing to, if you want to solidify your but if you want to go into a game development career full time, that's then basically yeah, this is a very good thing to do altogether. And I'm as I said, like I'm by the way, I'm not an authority to give advice on such matters, although I do have my credentials of like of writing professional software for like good like 12-13 years. I do have like seen the industry in different capacities. But yeah, having said that, like if you are inclined in writing software, that's awesome, and building games is even more awesome. Okay, so this is kind of the things that I think like we made quite a bit of nice progress. So now we can start like in the next stream probably I'll start building populating this world with things like trees and paths, and I'll start painting a path, putting up some props around here and there, building some bridges, maybe some gardens. So this is kind, and then basically I'll also look at this and see where can I make. I think like there are like 3-4 interesting areas in this terrain right now. The first one is this one. Like this is kind of, it looks like a port. Then this one is like also a very nice lake. This one is also a nice lake. I think having a house around here, or yeah, around this area can be nice, because then basically I have but one of the things is basically the game plot requires me to have two opposite kind of directions where the house, like, or from the house there should be two possible ways where the user can go. One is towards the forest, the other is towards the town where her mother works. So probably having the house here, then I can just draw like a way towards the town from this area, right? So I can attach another terrain here and then basically take the user towards the town, and this area leads them into the forest. So basically this side is closed by the ocean or the sea, so they don't have anything else to do here, but they can go down this path to basically towards the forest, and then basically I can build the world as long as I want, keep going in the forward directions to basically take them towards different levels or chapters of the game. So I think that's all for today. It's approximately like 4:30 in the morning for me, and I will try to stream. My timings are not regular right now because I have a full-time job, and it was like a weekend for me, an extended weekend, so I was able to stream today. But most of the times basically I don't have very regular times. I generally stream around basically 9-10 p.m. in the night, and basically this is my first video on game development. I also stream around like software development for like building softwares, which are my personal projects. So around like 9 to 10 p.m. in the night. 10 p.m. is the right time, kind of like generally I stream. If it's a day off, which is basically Thursday and Friday for me. Yeah, no, Friday and Saturday for me here in UAE. So on those days I stream like several times a day, maybe during the day and evening and even night. So tomorrow also I'll start streaming at 10 p.m. or even before. Like tomorrow is a day off as well for me. So basically when I say tomorrow, I mean today it's like 5 a.m. in the morning almost. So I will start streaming at around 5, and at that or not 5, around like maybe midnight, afternoon, not midnight, yeah, around 12 noon. So 12 noon UAE time would be I think let's go here. So Chris, I think you said you are based in what do you call it, in Canada, right? If I remember that correctly, or I don't know, wherever you are located, like just so that I can tell you an idea about my next stream. And if you are interested in basically joining me in the stream tomorrow as well, or today, so probably like 12, I'll start 12 noon, which is time to CDT. I'll just probably US or Canada, wherever you are. It's going to be 3 a.m. Sunday morning. I don't know whether I'll be, but yeah, all these things are basically I'm streaming them on both Twitch and YouTube. So you can if you are so inclined, you can come back and basically join me, or like watch the videos later on. And if you want to be notified, then basically, although I don't like this kind of YouTube pitch where like subscribe and if you want, basically, yeah, that has its benefit, although I'm not doing it for basically start like establishing my YouTube channel. I'm just doing it to stay focused on my programming or the game development that I'm doing. So that so I will now basically close this stream. I hope, I don't know if you are still around, Chris. If you are, can you just affirm that you're still with me? Perfect. Yeah, now I can see your basically chat messages. So no worries, no worries. If basically it's okay. Basically, you can just watch the video later on if you are. And basically, I hope it will be able to help you in some way to basically to achieve your vision of building a game. And just in case, like if you need to like ask any questions, or like basically discuss any idea, that would also be more than welcome. I'll be here. You can just drop me a message on like my channel here. You can drop me a message, or you can comment on one of my videos, and I'll be more than happy to connect with you. I don't want to basically share my personal email with you on like on a public kind of platform, because then it becomes like super easy for people to. But if you are interested, basically you can drop me a message on YouTube, and basically I can try to see if I may be able to answer those questions. Or we can just like basically learn from each other. If you are also, you might have a very good idea, and basically you can also provide some critical feedback, which would be very constructive for me. So yeah, uh, it was nice to have you on the stream today, Chris. I hope to be able to see you sometime soon. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I would like to basically close off the stream for today. Uh, all right. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever you are in the world. I hope to see you sometime soon. Thank you so much.